Hi guys, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. Today I am getting back to some watercolors. We're just working on some sketches. I've been really craving watercolors lately. I used to paint with them all the time and it's been a while. I am working with a new palette. This is from Paul Rubens. They sent it to me and I've been really enjoying it. It's just, I really enjoy having all of the colors all together where I don't need a separate mixing pan and the tubes of paint. That's how I usually like to paint with my watercolors, but this one's really nice to just be able to have in a different spot in my home that I can sit down, paint in a different area and have everything that I need. So today I just want to talk a bit about the value of creating artwork. I feel it. I know that probably a lot of other artists right now are feeling it. It can be really unsettling as far as where is the value in making art? Where's the purpose? I just want to chat a bit about it because I feel so deeply, innately that there are supposed to be artists. There are supposed to be people making things and expressing themselves, and whether that gets seen by no one but the artist or many people, I think that is a value that needs to be part of the world. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of the things that I think add value to my life by creating artwork. I think one of the things that I find to be the most exciting about creating artwork and about seeing what other artists create is the different views of what is beautiful in the world. And I know I'm using the word beautiful, but there's a lot of different sparks of interest, I guess maybe might be a broader way of saying that. Different things that people take note of and that they want to express. But I think we're probably going to explore more of the beauty side in art. What are we focusing on and putting into our artwork that's beautiful? So I think what's really cool about making art is that every single person, every human on earth has a different set of things that they find beautiful. I think obviously there are so many things that overlap, that so many of us share a commonality in what we enjoy. Sunsets, fall leaves, rain, birds, colors specifically. There are so many things that so many people share, but I love the thought that every single person has their own set that they carry around with themselves. If you add them all up together, I think that we all kind of have this unique melding of these interests that we have and these things that we take note of and the things that we just really appreciate and just spark something in us. And when you combine all those things together, you get a unique person and a unique perspective. So when you can take all of that and you make art from that place, you're putting something into the world that someone else, if they see it, they can resonate with those things that you're expressing, the beauty that you see in the world, and then reflected back someone else. There's someone else out there that loves that same thing, and that connects you. But then being able to have that blend that makes whatever you're doing unique, that's your voice that no one else can replicate. And really quickly, some self-promo. I have a store update on November 28th. I'm really excited. It's been a long time since I've really updated much outside of originals as I finish them. So on the 28th, I will be adding 2 limited edition prints and a bunch of other items that were part of Kickstarters that I never added to my shop. So if you missed out on anything like that, make sure to check out my store update on November 28th. And I'll have an automatic 20% off everything but the 2 limited edition prints. So that's originals, and everything else will be 20% off from November 28th to December 2nd. So make sure to go check out my shop. Again, you won't need a code or anything for that. That'll be automatic. I'm very excited to offer these things that I've been enjoying looking at. There's something just really gratifying, for me at least, about seeing something really beautiful in the world and then finding a way to incorporate it into my artwork and then to put it out there. I feel like I stole a little piece of beauty from the world and then made it my own. Seeing the texture of stone in the downtown area where I live, something like that, being able to observe it and take note of it and appreciate it and then put that into my artwork, it feels like I've taken something and made it my own. I've captured it and then multiplied it, I guess. Maybe that's a better way to say it than take it. I am able to express something that someone else would not be able to have seen or observe, and then I can show it to them and show them through my own perspective. And if you zoom out more in your life over months, years, I love the idea that I can look at my artwork and see the things that I find beautiful. Those things shift over time. So I found that lately, over the past year or so, I've been just really gravitating more towards these really rich yellows, yellowy greens, more warm orange colors, red even. And that is complete opposite of where I used to be. It used to be entirely cool colors, and that's all that I wanted to paint with. That's all I wanted to think about or look at. I never touched orange, never red really, except for very specific color palettes. Usually it was red and white. Anyways, there were colors that I just did not have any interest in, and yellow right at the top of the list. And then things have shifted and I've seen it a little differently. I've noticed things in my own life that have this beautiful amber quality. I've noticed the way that the light comes in my kitchen in the morning and it has that golden glow. I've just been really appreciating the warmer range of colors. So I've been wanting to paint, I've been wanting to create artwork with those colors, and I think it's just really cool that I can look at this trend happening in my life and that it kind of denotes as I shift through the actual seasons of the world and how the things that I am appreciating have changed, and I can take note in that. There's just something very biographical and journalistic about working on artwork for a long period of time. You being able to see the things that you find interesting shifting and changing and cultivating. And I wish I knew more of the science behind how beneficial art can be. I know that I've ran into studies and little factoids about how that changes our mentality and our perspective and our anxiety. There's just all sorts of things that I do know somewhere in my brain what art can do for us, but that doesn't stay long. I have other things to think about. So I can't recite any of those. All I can really talk about are my personal experiences. So I also find that when I can just draw when I'm feeling anxious, or I just feel so bored that I feel like it's painful even, being able to just sit down and draw, that gives something for my brain to focus on. So it makes me feel a lot more present in the moment. It helps when I'm really stressed out, when I'm anxious, when I'm thinking about things that are negative, or when I'm sad. It gives my muscles something to do. It gives my brain something to think about that's just really focused. And I find that drawing and painting, that can be a really helpful tool for me to just get myself back into the present. So when I'm sitting down and I have gotten through all of the planning parts, and I know this is a very specific part of the process for me at least, but when I've gotten the sketch done, I've gotten everything transferred, and I'm just sitting and I'm painting and I know exactly what I'm doing, being able to get into that place and that flow state, all that I'm thinking about, and oftentimes what I'm thinking is in a much more passive way, if that makes sense. I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm saying, but when I can get to that place, I just feel like I'm sitting there in that exact moment. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow or in an hour when I get up. I can just be present. And I think that that's something that a lot of us struggle with these days. A lot of anxiety and a lot of future thoughts where we're just wrapped up in planning everything that's coming up and what we're going to do next and how we're going to handle things, and making sure that we think through all of our lists so that we can get to it. Drawing just helps me snap out of that spiral and to step back into just being in that moment, in that day, and appreciating what's happening in that moment. If it's raining outside, I find that if I can just curl up and start painting, that is my dream scenario. And I love that creating art is a skill that I can benefit from. So I can really just beautify my space with perfectly bespoke artwork or crafts or whatever I feel like creating. And maybe it's not good. Maybe I don't have the skills for whatever I'm seeking to put into my life. But the fact that I can create something that I've conceptualized that I wanted for myself, I find that so exciting. I want to do it more for my own home. I want to create more artwork for it. I want to paint little murals on the walls. I want to make little crafts for it, for my home. But there's just so many options to just make the space that you live in through art feel like it belongs to you, reflects the things that you love, the colors that you love, the motifs, the images, the ideas. I'm just so excited to explore that more within my own home. I've been having more and more thoughts on what I could do to really just personalize the space for myself. And this goes as simple as if you're renting and you live somewhere really small, being able to create a little painting that you can hang in a specific spot, and then you could take it down every month and put up a new one that matches the season or the feeling that you want to feel in that month. There's just so much that you can do to beautify your space, your existence with the art that you create for yourself. And you can disagree with me on this one, but I do feel that everyone could benefit from finding some way to be creative in their life. That there are so many ways to be creative that can fit with any different type of personality, and that kernel of creation can benefit anyone's life. Mine is painting, mine is creating artwork, and I do feel incredibly uplifted by creating artwork. It's challenging in a really motivating way, and I love that. I'm sure I could list so many more benefits, personal benefits for making artwork, but I gotta cut myself off at some point. I love thinking about the positive side of making art. It just really gets me motivated and excited about making more of it. And don't forget, I do have my store update on November 28th. So that's the limited edition prints, and then everything else on the shop will be 20% off from the 28th to December 2nd. So check that out. There's a link down in the description. And if you'd like, you can go over to my shop. So you can follow the link in the description and sign up for newsletters. I will be sending out a newsletter on the day that the limited edition prints start and the Black Friday sale starts. So if you want to be notified as soon as that happens, make sure to follow over to my shop and sign up for the newsletter. And that is about it for today. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, chatting about the beauty of artwork, and I'll see you guys next time.